Uh, I'm joining you all here once again um, for another ramble this month because you just can't get enough rambles. There's no such thing as enough of them, right? We'll go ahead and say that you said yes because it's happening either way. So the path of least resistance sounds good. This is the Sarevile mono headset. Um, and from my quick audio test, it does sound like it's not great because of the Bluetooth. I mean, it has a receiver, but basically it's just using Bluetooth to connect to the receiver instead of connecting to Bluetooth directly on a device. So, like, I guess it's good for stuff that doesn't have Bluetooth built in, but also has USB or something that's particular with Bluetooth. I don't know what the advantage would be, honestly. But today we're not talking about that. We're talking about, um, particularly, you're talking about Sony Handycams. So I'm basically, the whole thing here is that this boring ramble to put you to sleep is about how like I really like Sony Handycams. That was like the first camcorder I got was a Sony Handycam. It's like a I can't remember the actual model number. I have to go look all these up again. I had these down at one point, but basically I had an old one from like 2008. I think is the model. I think. I think I got it in 2009, but it was 2009 or 2010. No, 2009. But the model's from 2008. I know that because it when the battery it's dead, basically it's very low battery, it's very bad battery. So like it doesn't keep the internal stuff anymore after it's you turn it on every time it just defaults back to defaults. Because I leave it in the box for a while now, so I don't really actively use it, and so it always defaults to like 2008. That's at least my understanding of that's the model. At least that one came out. Um, and I still kind of like it for it has a good mic on it. Funny enough, a better mic than maybe I should have done a video with that. It has a better mic than most of these mics I've been testing. Um, and could have done a throwback. I almost would, but I feel like honestly the reason I don't is because it hasn't really been that terribly long. I haven't made that much content with the newer cameras. It's been like, well, I guess it's been longer than I'd like to think. It's not as many videos as it should have been. Because it's like I got the I got the camera or I upgraded my camera at one point in 2019, so I upgraded away from that one, I believe. So I just haven't recorded a ton of stuff since then. It's been like 6 years, so I mean, you know, probably been a good chunk of time. Um, and I upgraded it to another Sony Handycam like this. Like it was like I want to say the first one was like called like a DCR SR47 or something like that. DCR something at least. And then the second model that I got in like 2019, it's like a HDR. It's like 400 something, I think because it's like it's one where like they basically still sell like I think it's like a 455 or something, and like they still sell a 405 or some numbering thing like that. Where basically it's like yeah, they still kind of sell it as like their entry level sort of like it does HD, does 1080p, 60 FPS. So you're like yeah, that's good, but like I don't know. Um, uh, I mean, I was still pretty happy with that upgrade where it's like better picture quality. It's smaller, it's lighter. Mic it wasn't as good, but I had an external mic to use then, so I just started using that. Blue Yeti and combining audio. The other thing though, is that a couple years now, I've had the Sony FDR AX53, and that one is 4K, 30 FPS, but still has 1080p, 60 FPS. That's what I've been using for a lot of my stuff lately, and I'm still really happy with it. Mic had a weird phasing issue, but having the ability to plug in a mic directly to it has been awesome. Um, and yeah, the video looks great. Pictures actually look really good on it too. And I'm like, I really like these. So I had it thought in my head for a little bit, be like, it's kind of fun to go around and play with different cameras and stuff. What if I started collecting handy cams, specifically the Sony Handycam line? Because all of these are Sony Handycams. It's like, what if I just kind of go along the line and do those? That could be cool. That could be fun. Um, and as I started looking around, I immediately found out that, like, okay, like pretty quickly, maybe not immediately, but very quickly, I found out, like, okay, that's a bad idea. So while there's not a whole lot of new ones to worry about, the problems are like, first of all, there are like a ton of model variants that are more or less the same thing with like a few different features between them. Like a screen size or like a in menu feature or like some small things like this that are barely different between each one. Um, so like those are yeah, I don't think there would be a whole lot of difference between because a lot of them will have the same like sensors and stuff and lenses and everything. So like there's not really much need to get like you know 6 or 7 cameras that are all basically the same. Um, the second part of it is also the fact that like um, a lot of these really I think the bulk of the rest of this is that a lot of these are old. Right? I think all the ones that are like digital newer ones like that would probably still be fine to play around with if I just took select the models and like okay like this is like this series of them take this one and do that kind of thing. That could probably still be kind of interesting. See they're all in like different flavors of the cameras as they've gone up or whatever. That could be cool. But like even there, you get into the area of like, okay, well, how do I know if I'm getting one for like a reasonable price? Is it good condition? I can't exactly repair these because I don't know how to do that. And if I need to get like a part, like a battery or like something like that, right? Specific things for them, like would I be able to source those and get them, and would that be easy to get? And that's up in good condition. Would that? How much would that cost? So like difficulty and cost really come into play there a lot. And then like there's also the thing of like when you look at older ones, the Sony Handycams are like okay, well they go back to having stuff like the proprietary like memory sticks in them or whatever for saving stuff onto or using have to use like mini cassette things, mini DVDs, floppy disks, like weird like different like pieces of media that I don't. Again, it's hard to get source those, hard to get access to those today very easily without going to specific places and knowing what you're looking for. How often would I realistically use this stuff? How well would it talk with modern machines? What would I have to do to get these to like really function well for that stuff? Um, and in the long run, like, do I really want all those around? I think is another big thing too. Where it's like, yeah, like beyond the risk, the hassle, the difficulty, the cost. I'm like, am I going to be happy doing that? And I think that probably I wouldn't. I'd be like, okay, well, this is a cool thought, a very neat thought, but not really a good thing. Um, so I probably wouldn't. I probably would not bother. Um, just because like I don't think I would really use them. I don't think I would really take amazing care of them sitting around when I'm not using them after like them for a bit. So like basically this is kind of like falling under the category of like, I might look for one at some point out of curiosity if one of them sounds interesting and like pops up and it looks like, oh, that's cool. I want to play around with that. But I don't know between the three that I have already. I'd like a new one. That would be cool if they release new ones, which I don't think they really do anymore. The market for that is sort of dead, um, thanks to smartphones. Um, because even the 4K one that I got is like a 2016 or 15 model, something like that. It's not like new. I'd love a newer one, but you pretty much just have to get the more like photo camera looking things now. Deal with that. I don't really want to do that if I don't have to. If this breaks, I might consider it. Um, I might also consider just replacing this one with another one if I could find it, but I might consider that because like being able to transfer the stuff faster would be the only real positive I think for me for switching them. But I'm not really looking to get a photo camera body style. I still like the camcorder style kind of. So like, I'd look around some and go from there. Hopefully, I don't have to worry about it for quite some time. And like, I don't know. I guess I just like one of those things where it's like it's neat, but yeah, I could probably satisfy that crazy idea urge. Probably be satisfied with like I'll get one, and then I'd probably be fine. Similarly, I've been looking at like I'm gonna get a photo camera type thing. I kind of want to get one of the old like I've been seeing these like Sony CyberShot cameras for like photos, like digital cameras. There's a lot of different ones of those, but some of those look kind of neat. I'm like, that might be kind of cool. I've seen a couple that kind of have a similar. I'm guessing they're probably around the same time, a similar looking style to like my first Handycam. If I get something that looks like it fits in with that, like that could be fun to play around with because especially for photos, like I know these camcorders usually aren't great for photos. Mostly my first one wasn't, but like old like digital camera things to be fun to. Like, it's always fun to play with different like photo cameras to see like they just definitely have different flavors of like how they take photos and the way they look, and it's kind of fun to play around with. But I don't know. I think the idea for the collection thing was like more interesting than actually like once I started to be like, okay, so what's this going to entail? I'm like, okay, no. Kind of like someone who's like, I want to start a YouTube channel and do this, and then it's like, okay, you realize all the stuff you're gonna have to do to make that your YouTube channel like forever, right? Like, oh, well then I don't want to do it. So anyway, I think it'll be good. Well, try whispering. How do you closer? Carefully.